What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.
Simon told Helen wins a half length. Zach Benelli second.
Welcome to Greyhound Gossip.
Peaky Blinders start cheering for Tommy Shelby wins the WA Sprint Championship final.
Featuring Peter O'Neill and Leia Ernest.
Mozza moves up to Mermaid Manelli. Fab's Gem 3 deep. Here comes Fab's Gem.
Hard style Rico by 5 lengths to Simon told Helen. Third Tommy Shelby.
This segment is dedicated to the discussion and promotion of greyhound racing.
Cindy's Oliver, Rockstar Patriot, Paul Stewart, back-to-back with Rockstar Patriot in the Galaxy.
Handsome Prince, a boulder clear. The former Tasmanian Handsome Prince has won the $1 million chase.
And a very good morning, everyone. Tuned into Greyhound Gossip this Monday. And as always, a very good morning to you, Peter O'Neill.
Good morning, Lag. Good morning, everyone. And yes, welcome along to the program. What a weekend we had with the Great Western. And congratulations to Gary Nelson and the owners of Ultimate Command. I'm pretty sure I'd be confident in saying that was Gary's first feature win, and takes out the Great Western with Ultimate Command on Friday night at Cannington. And then on Saturday night, we had Quick Smart win for Chris Holst and Robert Britton. And happy birthday, 60th birthday to Chris Holst, who celebrates today, Leia. And Robert Britton, his brother-in-law, came across and celebrated with him and his family and friends yesterday. So it was a good day out, and I'm sure Chris will be having a good day and probably a bit of a heavy head this morning.
Yes, and I think we spoke to Chris about 2 weeks ago, and he's always fishing, so he might be off on a fishing trip for his birthday.
Well, you're spot on. His birthday present from his friends and family was I'm pretty sure it was to Darwin, and it's a helicopter flight where they'll be taking him out for a fishing trip. So well done to Chris and a very happy birthday to him. It was a big weekend of greyhound racing, and of course a big week with the announcement last week, Leah, from Racing and Wagering Western Australia, that there's going to be some very large increase in stake money across the board. And Peter Howell, the racing manager, has been good enough to join us this morning to go through the announcement last week. Peter, exciting times for greyhound racing with the continuation of increases in stake money. 10% across the board is a big plus for the industry. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to yourself and the listeners, and Leia in the studio here. Yes, it is a fantastic announcement. Rowa had committed over the last couple of years with numerous 10% increases to the base stake money, and this is the next one along the line of those increases. And it's important to just continue to reward those that are investing in the code, not only through ownership, breeding, all the way through. And the base stakes is a great way to do that. And we're starting to see our stake money be pretty much right up there, and especially in terms of the city. We've always led provincial and country across Australia, but the city we're pretty much there now, competing with Victoria and New South Wales, right where it hurts them.
Well, the City Grade 5 now, and the novices are up over $10,000, so that's great, isn't it? $1.55 million, and there's also going to be over $300,000 increases to feature races. Tell us a little bit about that, the Group 2s and Group 3s, to bring us in line with Greyhounds Australasia. Yeah,
between Greyhounds Clubs Australia and Australasia, the benchmarks have shifted a little bit. So, Group 2 will now be $60,000 to the winner, so that hasn't moved for a long time. We were sitting on $40,000 to the winner in those sort of derbies and oaks at Cannington, and so they'll be $60,000, and the Group 3s will now be $30,000 to the winner. So that's some great money for those reaching that feature race level here in WA.
Pete, on top of course, the Group 2, Group 3 and the Grade 5 novices increase, we've also got distribution releases in regards to the GAP program. Can you tell us a bit more about that? Yeah, so it's not only just the infrastructure as such as a new facility. There will be money towards the resourcing and marketing of the GAP program. It's a very tough and competitive market in any form of rehoming, whether or not it be greyhounds or any dogs in general, cats. So a lot has to be put into that, but the biggest part of that is the new facility that has been earmarked, and that's going to be around over a $6 million investment once that's completed and up and running in the next couple of years in Southern River. It's going to be a fantastic facility.
That's unbelievable. A lot of money, isn't it? $6.6 million to Greyhounds as Pets expansion. So that's very good and great to see the welfare of the Greyhounds are at the forefront of racing and wagering WA's policies going forward. Tell us about the upgrade of the Mandurah track. How's that progressing at the moment? And Ra will put in another $3.5 million this financial year towards the completion of that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's part of that continuation of the full project, which was around an $8 million project. And as I'm seeing the pictures coming through regularly, and at this stage it's very much early into the schedule of works, but it's certainly going to plan. Nothing has been delayed up to now. I've seen some pictures recently of pouring of the concrete inside part of the plinth, etc., of the track. So it's all going along well. Despite all this wet weather they've been probably experiencing down at Mandurah, as far as I can tell, it's all on schedule.
Once that's completed, Peter, will there be money then spent on Cannington and some work to be done at Cannington at the end of this year or early next year?
Yes, it's all about just finding the right window of opportunity with that. Just a little bit of work on doing a resurf of the track, just bringing in the base to make it a little bit more even. It's discovered the underlying base might be a little bit up and down in patches. But finding the right window can be a little bit tricky, especially during that summer window where we can't necessarily race at Northam easily with the heat up the hill. So, we'll be meeting with Greyhounds WA, just finding a spot on the calendar where we can have Cannington out for a few weeks. So that will be in the plan for, I would say, more likely sometime in mid-2024. And in the background as well, we've talked about the Mandurah development, and we also have to keep in mind the Pinjarra facility. The land has been secured, and in the background we haven't forgotten that process, and it's very much in the planning and development and design phase of what can be put on that land between us and the usage for the trotting code.
I'll come back to Pinjarra in a moment. Just one more question on Cannington. Has there been much discussions with you and also Greyhounds WA in regards to how the Cannington track is holding up? We saw, and obviously winter, you can't do much about the rain conditions, but some heavy tracks over the last, well, not heavy, but softer tracks over the last couple of weeks because of the rain. Seems to be racing fairly, though, and even though the times might be slower, everything seems to be going okay. Is that the feedback you're getting?
Yeah, correct. It is the same feedback, and I don't think people may truly appreciate just how much work the Greyhound track at Cannington is receiving. It's just not the race nights that are obviously front of mind. It's the public trialling, etc., in the background as well. You might think, well, we're not racing there on Thursday or Monday, but there's public trialling happening constantly on the track as well. So it's holding up very well, and bring on late September, hopefully middle of October, and we'll be down at Mandurah and just take that pressure release off all the facilities, including Northam, racing twice a week up there at the moment.
I hope the industry do take some time out of their day, while they're trialling and also racing, and just thank the track staff on the work they're doing, because they're doing their best to make sure that it's up to standard, and to be able to race there and also trial, as you mentioned, 7 days a week is remarkable, and Northam's doing really well as well. Just back to Pinjarra. So when do you think that final planning and design phase will finish, and then when can we start seeing work start taking place at Pinjarra?
Still a lot of work to be done there. I know we are having meetings in the next few weeks with the architecture group that will be designing and planning it. We've already done a lot of pre-work over the years with other potential locations, so we've got a leg up with some of that already, but I can't give any timeline as to when we will see, drawings, and then the next stage is getting the approvals to develop the land. There's a lot of red tape and bureaucracy that needs to be crossed before the first shovel is stuck into the ground.
We spoke with David Hunter not that long ago about his thoughts on the Sandgroper and whether it would be run on a different night. Has there been any further discussions on that?
Yeah, there has been, and I was hoping it would be put to the board for the June meeting, but what I've heard is it will be in the July meeting with the board, and the plan will be to listen and have a standalone race night, which would be on the Thursday, leading into obviously the trots on the Friday and the gallops on the Saturday. And that leaves us open to a very interesting option and to create a point of difference in this national market, which is incredibly competitive around the big money races, and gives us an option to race at Mandurah on a Thursday night, potentially for the richest prize money purse for, say, a 400-metre distance in Australia, which I know Grafton had the 350-metre Thunderbolt on the weekend for $75,000. But, yeah, it would be sort of as part of the proposal to have potentially the richest 400-metre race in Australia down at Mandurah.
Wow. So what, are we talking about increase in going up in prize money from the $500,000, or are we talking about a $500,000 400-metre race at Mandurah?
Yeah, well, at this stage, looking at the $500,000 down at Mandurah for the 400-metre event. So yeah, it's an interesting distance because it can still attract those 500-metre sprinters who are more adept and quite capable of running the 400-metre trip, but it will also open it up to a whole new group of greyhounds that have that 400-metre speed, which would create for an incredibly intriguing race down at Mandurah.
You mentioned that the feedback from this year's running of the Sandgroper was to have the standalone meeting. Was there any other feedback you got from the first official Sandgroper?
Well, that was the most difficult part, was getting people on that Friday night to both venues. So, I think if we can get it on Thursday night, a standalone race, get a whole heap of buses down to Mandurah. The facilities, quite large down there. You can have all your, if we have corporate investment, again, they can all have their little sections. And I think it will be the potential to put on a much better show for the Greyhound Code here and, highlight, all the work that's being done down at Mandurah on the track as well. So it would be a good segue into opening up that, and show off what has been done down there.
The Nationals coming up, so you're looking forward to that, and obviously with this prize money increase, it's some great exciting news for WA Greyhound Racing and a national scene as well, with our WA dogs about to compete in Brisbane for the Brisbane Cup riches. Pete, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the week, and thanks for coming on and explaining to us about the great news of the increase in prize money with $11.2 million in capital investment and the increase of $1.5 million in prize money. It's great for WA Greyhound Racing. Thanks for that.
Yeah, certainly is. Greyhound Racing here in the state has probably never been in a better space in terms of the financial awards and also the investment in the gap and the animal welfare of the code for the future.
Good on you. Peter Howell joining us, the racing manager from Racing and Wagering WA. And Leia, that is great news for the WA greyhound racing industry.
Oh, it is fantastic. And we have discussions constantly on the show, whether it be with Jason Lincoln or anyone else over East. And it is around the fact that we're not as competitive as the eastern states, but we are definitely getting there. And especially with the Sandgroper, it's one of its kind. And I think it's really putting WA on the map.
All right, let's go to our next special guest. Of course, the month of June is Bowel Cancer Awareness Month, and our next special guest is about to join us, KC Mazza. That's how I'll pronounce it because I get it wrong every year, KC. Good morning to you. It is an important month to raise awareness for bowel cancer, and obviously very special to you with you losing your mum to bowel cancer, and you're continuing on the fight and trying to promote it with the KC Events having this big promotion and the Gala Ball coming up later this year. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Going really well. How are you going? And how are the sales going for the Gala Ball coming up later this year, the Dream of Sunshine Gala Ball?
Yes, it's going well. It's a lot of work, but I love it. I thrive on it. Ticket sales are going good. They could be a lot better. But yeah, no, it's going there, and I won't give up until we get there.
Casey, can you tell us a bit more about the event, what people can expect? I believe you did mention on your social media there's a band, there's dancers and plenty of other things happening on the night.
Yeah, so we've got an acoustic singer in the foyer where we will have canapes and drinks, and then you go into the ballroom and we'll have a band. We've got a magician that roams around and just interacts with everyone. A 3-course meal, 5-hour beer and wine. We've got dancers through Explosive Studios. I've got a guest speaker that's a survivor of bowel cancer. So it's all happening.
It's going to be a great night, and hopefully our listeners and our greyhound industry will get right behind you. And you've got a promotion this month as well where there's going to be a discount with it being Bowel Cancer Awareness Month. You've got a discount in the month of June.
Yeah, so the month of June, as we're aware, it's bowel cancer awareness. So I've done for 2 tickets for $400, so you're saving $40. So they're usually $220 each. But for this month, it's $200 each for a ticket.
That's fantastic. And how can till this Friday. And how can our listeners actually go on and book the tickets?
So you can go on to Eventbrite. Even if you Google on Eventbrite Dream of Sunshine, it will pop straight up. And you can go on there, or you can go on my social media, Casey Events, and I have the link on there. Or I've got the picture on there where you got the QR code if need be.
All right. How's it been going for you, and have you noticed that the bowel cancer awareness is getting more awareness in the industry and also out in the general public?
Yeah, it is slowly. It's a deadly disease, and it's really not spoken about as if you get it early, it's awesome. But if you leave it if you leave it too late, it's a deadly disease. And I've actually had bowel cancer reach out to me, thanking me to promoting, which is pretty amazing for them. I'm trying to get them on board, but they're such a small organisation, so they don't have anyone here in Perth. They're all based eastern states, so it's quite hard to get them on board. But it's more, I just talk about it. People are probably sick of me talking about it, but all I do is talk about it and just the awareness of it, because it is, for me, seeing it, it's just a horrible disease that you don't want anyone to go through.
Well, Casey, can you tell our listeners, we had you on last year, but that was a while ago now. Can you tell our listeners why you have such a soft spot for bowel cancer and your story?
Yep. So in 2015, my mum was diagnosed with bowel cancer. And then in 2018, she lost the fight to bowel cancer. Excuse me, I'm getting teary. You think you get over it after a while, but so yeah, I saw everything. So I saw she was a fighter. Sorry.
Right.
And you just see how she just deteriorates, and it got to the point where she was in a hospital bed. She couldn't talk. She couldn't get up. She couldn't bath herself. And it's just a horrible disease that just came from nowhere. She was she was fit, she was active, and then, she just had pains in her stomach, and then one day just got checked, which I remember that day because she didn't actually tell me, but she was very quiet that night. Glenn was racing and my dad was away. And it's just eats you away, and it's just, she hung in there so much. She wouldn't talk about it. You wouldn't know until she lost all her hair, but you wouldn't know. She didn't want it to define her, but then it got to the point where it's obviously undefined her. But she was a strong woman, and I don't wish it upon anyone, and just try my best to raise as much awareness. And I'd really like to make this a bi-yearly thing. So this is, I keep promoting it, keep raising money, and hopefully everyone needs to get checked, and just,
It's very important, Casey. We really appreciate you sharing your story with us, and good luck with the ball. We'll keep promoting it right the way up until November. You can go online this week. It closes by Friday, the discounted tickets, but Eventbrite, you can go on and Google or search for the Bowel Cancer Gala Ball, Dream of Sunshine Gala Ball, and buy a ticket, get behind this, and really support Casey. She's doing a great job. She shared her story this morning, and it is easy. I get checked regularly, and I think it's very important for both men and women to make sure that they get checked regularly for bowel cancer, because if you get it early enough, you can certainly live a very happy and prosperous life. Casey, thanks for joining us this morning. Good luck with the sales.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
Good. Casey Mazza joining us this morning, and it is very important if you can go online and buy a ticket, eventbrite.com.au, Dream of Sunshine, Gala Ball. It certainly is going to be a great night coming up at the end of the year. All right, let's change tack and talk a little bit of brighter news, and that is the Group 1 Brisbane Cup. And that's coming up this week, and what an exciting night it's going to be, and how good were the Sandgropers last Thursday night once again. Let's hope they can take out the features this week. The man who'll be calling all the action, and he's been great with his time through the series, is John Brasch, and he joins us this morning. Bunny, how are you?
Peter, good morning to you. Good morning to your listeners. Yes, it's at the pointy end of the carnival now, Pete. We've got the heats of the Sky Racing Brisbane Cup this Thursday night, plus the Queensland Cup for the stayers. I've just been in contact with the graders. Noms closed a couple of hours ago. We've got 7 heats of the Sky Racing Brisbane Cup, and very surprisingly, we've got 5 heats of our staying race, the Queensland Cup. So those fields will be released. They'll be boxed probably just after lunch, Pete. So in a couple of hours, we will know the fields for the entire card at Albion Park on Thursday night. And again, we do not have any graded races. We've got Group 1 racing galore. So 7 heats of the Brisbane Cup and 5 heats of the Queensland Cup for the stayers to look forward to.
Well, let's hope that a few WA greyhounds get box 1 in the heats. Elite Machine drew box 1 the other night, and you got to call him winning. He was impressive. He's currently $15 with Tab Touch, but how impressive was Postman Pat, who's the $3.50 outright favourite for the Brisbane Cup on Thursday night with the heats.
Yeah, Pete, we were in awe of the Postie on Thursday night. There were rumours that he was coming, that he wasn't coming. But eventually he turned up. Jason Thompson set him up to Tony Brett, and young Luke Thompson handled him on Thursday night. The boys have been there every week. Jason's been there, but he's let Tony do the work with the greyhounds, seeing he sent them up to Queensland. Jason's just sat back and just watched these chasers in awe, and Luke was there on Thursday night, and he handled him, and he began brilliantly, and ended up carving out 29.39, which is the equal third fastest run at Albion Park. And he'd only had one look at the track over the 395, and he went within a tenth of the track record the previous Sunday night. And he put him in that race last Thursday, and he absolutely blew them away by 12 lengths. And astute punters, Pete, I think have got as much as $14 about Postman Pat to win the Brisbane Cup, and now he's into around $2.30, 34, 40 favourite.
Okay, well, he's still $3.50 available with Tab Touch at the moment, so punters get aboard there because he's much shorter with other bookmaking firms around Australia. Amron Boy at $8, Victor Damien, J is J at 10, then Trooper Tears, Alpha Zulu and Rejuvenate at 12. A few WA greyhounds, Electrified, Elite Machine at 15, former WA-owned Chaser Panama Pepper, 51 into $17, and Crumble Manelli currently at $21. So there's going to be a fair bit of WA flavour up there. Outside of Postman Pat, do you think there's one that you would like to take the investment on at the larger odds going into the heats?
Yeah, well, as you say, we'll concentrate on the WA Greyhounds. Elite Machine was very impressive off the box one the other night, and as you say, Electrifying's coming across, and the old fella, he was very, very impressive again the other night, and I'm sure he's going to acquit himself very, very well, Panama Pepper. So, yeah, they're all basically in with a chance, but being parochial, Pete, I'm going to say J is J. I think we are all hoping that he can stand up, and he actually did a post-to-post at Albion Park before the meeting last night, and he went very, very well there. He went 24.06 post-to-post, and the night he broke the track record, he came home in 12.44. He came home in 12.50 in that trial last night. So he's well and truly on song for the heats of the Brisbane Cup on Thursday night.
Okay, and in the Queensland Cup, Ripon Grace heads our WA chasers. Currently, she's at $13. She's been impressive so far over the 600 there up in Queensland, and Ariane Bale's the favourite at $8 with Corborn Magic. I heard earlier on, I'm not sure if it's been confirmed, but Zipping Orlando looks like he won't be going around in the Queensland Cup heats.
Yeah, well, I was talking to Luke Gatehouse, manager there, last Thursday night after the meeting, and he said something to Minnie Finn, I'll see you next week, and I think she said, no, you won't. So I'm not sure if they're actually coming back at all for the heats either of the Brisbane Cup or the Queensland Cup. So we may be missing Minnie and John Finn's greyhounds from Thursday night.
Okay, and some other news that came out, I think, this week is that last year's winner of the Brisbane Cup, Orchestrate, and also the trainer, Tony Brett, who I think has won 5 Brisbane Cups over the time, they're going to have the consolations named in their honours on final night.
Yes, we've taken a little bit of the Melbourne Cup Carnival this year, Pete, with the qualifying runners, the Brisbane Cup Preludes, and we've taken a little bit of the Perth Cup format, where we're going to run a couple of the consolations as well on final night, and there's one worth $75,000, another worth $45,000, so there's nothing to be sneezed at, and the Racing Queensland have decided to name the consolations after former Brisbane Cup either trainers or greyhounds. And of course, we recently retired Orchestrate. He was last year's winner. He was our current Greyhound of the Year, and he was being set to take on this year's. And unfortunately, he went amiss in a trial a few weeks ago. And but that's a very, very good idea, is naming greyhounds and the trainers after the former winners of the Brisbane Cup, and Tony Brett is a 5-time winner of this Brisbane Cup, so it's probably no better person to actually name the first one after. And so Orchestrate, I think, will have the main consolation, and then Tony Brett will have the second consolation named in his honour. And by the look of it, it'll be the names of the trainer and the greyhound that then going forward that won the previous Brisbane Cup. So next year we'll have the 2023 greyhound and trainer honoured, and so forth going forward.
Looking forward to that. I spoke yesterday with Robert Britton. He was across for his brother-in-law Chris Holz's 60th birthday. Chris is 60 today, and Robert was just glowing about how good the carnival is and how great it is and the weather conditions up there in Queensland. So you've got a big plus from one of Australia's leading trainers in Robert Britton.
Oh, good to know. Yeah, Robbie's a regular at our carnivals. He stays up here with the Scott family, and yeah, he's always here. And Jeff's been here as well, his brother, and young Tim. So and Team Britain have been having a very good carnival as well. So, and just looking across, Pete, it has been widely spread. There's been Queensland winners, New South Wales winners, Victorian winners, even South Australia got in on the action early. And, of course, WA's having a marvellous carnival as well. So we're attracting the greyhounds from across Australia and, of course, New Zealand. And the shares are being the spoils are being shared across all the nation.
Let's hope WA can win some more on Thursday night, John. We're looking forward to your calls Thursday night from Albion Park with the Brisbane Cup and the Queensland Cup Heats. Outstanding night of greyhound racing. It's normally one of the best nights of the year, heat night, and we're looking forward to hopefully having a few WA greyhounds get through to the Rich Final the following week. And we'll talk to you next Monday. Thanks for joining us.
All right, Pete, thank you. And just one other quick bonus on Thursday night as part of the carnival as well. They've had a promotion going on. If a greyhound has run first, second and third in various lead-up finals to Thursday night, plus the preludes as well, and if they win a heat of the Brisbane Cup or the Queensland Cup, an extra $10,000 bonus comes the Connections way. So there's been races like the Flying Amy, the Carnival Chase, Dashing Corsair, etc., and all the Brisbane Cup preludes. So if any greyhound wins a heat on Thursday night, an extra $10,000 comes Connections way. So there's just another little highlight promotion for the greyhounds to win there on Thursday night.
It's outstanding. Great prize money on offer. And we announced earlier on this morning an increase in prize money here in Western Australia. So it's going great for Australian greyhound racing. Enjoy the week, Bunny.
Thank you, Peter. We'll look forward to bringing you everyone the coverage on Thursday night. And as you say, we'll talk to you in the lead up to the big $1 million night next Thursday night.
John Brasch, one of the best in the business, joining us this morning on Greyhound Gossip. That wraps up our program today, Leia. We've got greyhound racing coming in again from Northam. First race there getting underway at 1:32. So I'll look forward to joining you a little bit prior, or in fact you might have knocked off by then, but I'll be joining Stewie Meister at about 1:15 this afternoon with our preview of today's racing from Northam. We'll take a break, back with race day after this.